When the Pittsburgh Steelers first traded for DK Metcalf, I was like, oh, they got a nice 1-2 punch. DK Metcalf and George Pickens, and really just the whole AFC North of wide receivers. Because obviously you got the best. That's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The Ravens got Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. Just added DeAndre Hopkins too. And the Browns, they got Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. So I'm like, okay, the AFC North receivers, they something to deal with. And especially for my Baltimore Ravens, when they got to go against all those receivers at least 2 times a year, that's going to be a problem, and a good problem, and that'll bring that much more competition to the division. But the Steelers say, you know what, George Pickens, nah, we're done. And we're going to get rid of him. And this is apparently something that they had been working on. The Steelers and the Cowboys had been working on this trade since before the draft. The Cowboys have been looking to upgrade their wide receiver group since before the draft. And with them not getting the wide receiver via the draft, they say, you know what? We're going to get back on George Pickens. So now it is official that the Pittsburgh Steelers have traded George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. And the compensation is the Cowboys are sending the Steelers a 3rd-round pick, and both teams are swapping a day 3 pick. So either a 5th, 6th, or 7th pick. So the Steelers, they get a little bit worse because when you look at their draft class this year, they did not pick a wide receiver. So for a team, it's interesting because for a team that knew they were probably going to move off from George Pickens, they knew that it was probably a wrap for George Pickens. They knew that he probably wasn't going to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. I would have thought that they would have selected a wide receiver in the draft, but they still got options in free agency. I think that they'll probably go after somebody maybe like a Keenan Allen, something like that. But we'll see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do to quote unquote replace George Pickens. Now with the Cowboys, with him being added to them, I think that's a nice move for them. I really do. Cowboys obviously didn't get a receiver in the draft that they loved, and they were like, you know what? No, we all in on George Pickens. So they traded a 3rd rounder to acquire him. And again, day 3 pick swaps, so not much at all. But the one thing with George Pickens, he is in the final year of his deal. So are you going to pay him? I mean, you just obviously paid CeeDee Lamb, and he's a baller. I think they will complement each other well. CeeDee Lamb, a speedy, shifty receiver. But, hey, George Pickens ain't no sleeper now. Don't sleep on that boy, man, because George Pickens, it's like with him, when he's on, he's on. That boy can ball with the best of them. He really, really can. He can high point the ball. He got a good amount of speed, too. I didn't realize he ran a 4.4. But George Pickens is nice, man. But I think with him, what the issue was in Pittsburgh is just they ain't want to deal with it, man. They ain't want to deal with it. And George Pickens, he came across, I can't say for sure, but he came across like he may not have been one of the favorites in the building. Like he may not have sometimes even enjoyed being there. That's what it seemed like, that he didn't really enjoy being a Pittsburgh Steeler like that. He, of course, had some great moments, but he had some rough moments as well. Now, I ain't about to get up here and call him, oh, George Pickens, he's a diva. Because I hate that. I hate when people say that about wide receivers, when wide receivers show passion for the game. Because it's like with a lot of wide receivers, when they show passion for the game, when they get frustrated if they're not getting the ball, if they're not making plays, because that's their job, that's what they want to do, people will be quick, oh, that's a diva right there. Oh, look at him, he got an attitude or whatnot. But it's like, no, if they got a passion for the game, ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, how you handle that passion, that can change a lot of your circumstances with the team. Like with George Pickens, I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers, they did not like how he handled a lot of things. And they say, you know what? We moving on. So I am proud to say, especially as a Baltimore Ravens fan, that George Pickens' last game as a Pittsburgh Steelers, it came in a loss to the Baltimore Ravens. So I guess you could say that we technically ended his Steelers career. I guess so. That's a nice thing to say. But anyway, George Pickens, just 3 years. This is his 4th year. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2022. And when you look at his numbers, he put up some nice numbers. Nothing crazy, but look, in his rookie year, he had 52 catches for 801 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sophomore season, he didn't get that many more catches, but he got a lot more yards. Because in his rookie year, he averaged 15.4 yards per catch. His sophomore season, he had 63 catches, so only 11 more catches in his rookie year. But he went for 1,140 yards, so over 340 yards. Over 340 yards more than the previous year. But so he averaged 15.4 his rookie year. He averaged 18.1 his sophomore year, and then added another touchdown. Got 5 touchdowns instead of 4. But then last year he had 59 catches for 900 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I believe he missed a couple of games due to injury. So this is what the Cowboys are getting for their number 2 receiver. Not bad at all. Not bad at all for them. So this is a nice move. I know with the Steelers, they had been, before DK Metcalf, they had been in the receiver market for a while. I remember last year, a lot of people thought that Brandon Ayuk, that he was going to end up being in Pittsburgh. It obviously didn't go through, but that was what a lot of people were thinking. Like, oh man, Steelers trying to get Brandon Ayuk, and this was, of course, before he signed his deal. And it sucks because this is why players, they got to sign for that big money as soon as they possibly can. Because Brandon Ayuk, he signed his deal, and then I think after week 1, week 2, he got hurt, and he was done for the season. It's like, oh man, that was crazy, man. But the Steelers, they've been looking at wide receivers for a while, and again, they landed DK Metcalf. So it was looking like, oh yeah, they gonna have a nice little 1-2 punch. DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Calvin Austin, and still got Pat Frymouth too. Oh, all right, Pittsburgh, we see you. But now we see you. And George Pickens sees them, but he is gone. So he'll see them later. And the Cowboys, they made a nice upgrade to their offense. So I know Dak Prescott is happy. He got to be happy. He like, oh, man, I done got another one. And with the Cowboys, man, Jerry Jones had been talking about that he was going to make a substantial trade. And he talked about this before the draft. And he said he could make a substantial trade either before or after the draft. So it's clear what he was working on. George Pickens is gone. What a great way to start the morning for us as Baltimore Ravens fans. Hey, and the Ravens, if y'all want to make another move that make us even better while the Steelers are getting even worse, no problem. But anyway, we have arrived to my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM on Patreon. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all the Team Keep It Clean channel members. Shout out to all of y'all, period. I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting so much. Let's get into these questions. Overthinking. First question came from my guy, Alex. Oh, and make sure you leave a like on the video because we love the George Pickens news. Anyway, continuing. He said, how's it going? What's up, Alex? How are you? He said, hope all is well with you and your family. After picking up Malachi Starks in the first round, is this a sign that we are moving on from Super Duper Kyle? With both Hamilton and Linderflint up for contracts, how confident are you that we are planning on re-signing both of them? And do you think they're planning on re-signing Linderflint but not Hamilton? These are guys I really want to keep. Thanks again, GOAT, for everything. Alex, appreciate you, Alex. Don't appreciate the GOAT comment because that's not me. There's some other guys that's out there that are the GOAT, but me, us, no, not at all. But anyway, he said, could this mean that the Ravens are moving on from Super Duper Kyle? No, it doesn't. I think it more so means they're moving on from Ardarius, and they saw a need there, and they just really saw somebody who they feel like could be like that. Eventually, not right away maybe, but they could eventually be like that in Malachi Starks, and they're in a really good position to ease him into the lineup. It's very different from how it was with Kyle Hamilton because we needed a safety before when they drafted Kyle Hamilton. Now we didn't necessarily need a safety right here right now, but we needed one for the future with Ardarius Washington most likely getting ready to bounce very, very soon. They're not committed to Ardarius long term, and they need another safety. I think they didn't want to be in a position where they got to sign a safety in free agency. They wanted somebody who they could home grow them, like a Kyle Hamilton, like what they did with him. So now to pair up Kyle Hamilton with Malachi Starks for the future, two safeties that can do a lot of everything, that's what I think their plan is. I don't think Kyle Hamilton is going anywhere. Linderbaum, he ain't going nowhere either. So both of them are going to be remaining with the Baltimore Ravens for a long time to come. New faces. Next question came from my guy Joshua. He said, what's up, Ingravenvids team? Keep it clean. What's up, Josh? I hope your families are doing amazing and hope everyone's mental is doing well. And if it's not, it's okay. Ask for help. First, I want to say I finally hit on my draft prediction. I'm 1 out of 5. Okay, well, hey, it's better than 0-5 or better than 0-6, actually. But anyway, he said, that's right. Malachi Starks, the best safety in the draft and my number one player the Ravens needed to draft to make this defense that much stronger is a Raven. This year's draft I really liked and was impressed from EDC. I think this draft class has a chance to be EDC's best draft class ever, from the top safety, a top 5 edge rusher, good line depth, a rotational defensive tackle, and maybe a linebacker. JT's most likely replacement. Now, he wrote this before JT was cut. So, I mean, he knew. Again, the signs were there. that JT was out of there. But anyway, he said JT's most likely replacement in solid DB depth and one of my favorite wide receivers out of the draft. I think 7-11 can make the roster as depth, special teams, and having a role. And he's talking about LaJohntay Wester, I would assume. That the newest Florida Raven, by the way. Anyway, he said, I saw your reaction of us drafting Green, which was hilarious, and to be honest, I had that same exact reaction, LOL. I love the pick, but I didn't think we would because of the allegations, and we have a player with similar allegations right now who's probably going to get cut after June 1st. See, my guy knew. He knew what was on the way. He sent this on May 4th, so he knew what was on the way. And then, Justin Tucker got cut on May 5th, was it? Or was it May 4th? So he sent this before Justin Tucker got cut, though. Anyway, continuing. He said, but EDC and them said they did deep diving into it with even going back to his hometown. So if they picked him, it should be safe. That's true. He said, this is most likely my favorite draft class from EDC with the potential of everyone. Now the team needs to drill in their head. Let's not beat ourselves and play Ravens turnover less football. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, they need to make that message loud and clear in January. Obviously, you got to make it clear enough throughout the regular season. And there's going to be turnovers in the regular season. It's going to be mistakes that happen. Stuff happens. It's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. But in January, you don't be on that Ravens stuff, man. Do not be on that Ravens stuff. Anyway, he said, and they can get some nice shiny jewelry to flex if they end up doing that. Yeah, I hope so. He said, my question to you is, other than the first two picks, who do you think will be the best player out of the class and help us win games this year? Much love, and surprisingly, like Shedeur Sanders in the first 4 rounds, I'm out. And he was actually my QB1 in this class. Oh, okay, even over Cam Ward. Okay. Who I think can help the Ravens out besides the first 2 picks? I would say Aeneas Peebles, and the reason that I would say him is because of how versatile he is, and that's the name of the game for the Baltimore Ravens this year. It seems versatility, the more you can do. With him just being able to rush the passer, him being the most winning defensive lineman in college football when it came to pass rush win rate. With him just being able to play from inside and also play outside, that gives you more flexibility on what you can do with that defensive front. So I would say Aeneas Peebles, and I would also bring up LaJohntay Wester as well because of what he can contribute as wide receiver, even though I don't think he'll contribute much as a wide receiver this year. But what he can bring as a return man for the Baltimore Ravens, because we have just been lacking consistency at that position for a long time. We've had some nice moments, obviously, with the Tylan Wallace. Even Steven Sims had a couple of nice moments too, but we just haven't had the consistency there. They had Devin Duvernay as a return man a couple of years ago. They had James Prochet as well, and they need somebody who can be consistent as that return man for them and provide them with some electricity in the return game. And my guy Joshua B also said, P.S. for those who want Andrews gone, I know he had a bad last 2 drives in a game, but remember, he still had 11 of Lamar's 41 touchdown passes, and Lamar still trusts him. Let him finish his final year on his contract, and hopefully they pay Likely first. And then if he wants to come back on a small deal, welcome him back. Hey, as much as I would love that, as much as we would all love that, Mark Andrews taking a small deal when he could get paid some big money in free agent. Nah, he ain't settling for that. It'd be cool though, but you already know. Anyway, he said hopefully Likely gets like 55% of the snaps or more involved, or just more involved in the offense, and still have Andrews as a threat against a backup of their last defender on him, because we still have Flowers, Bateman, Likely, Hopkins, Henry, Hill, and Lamar's legs too. Yeah, Ravens are stacked, man. They really, really are. And with Mark Andrews most likely staying, I mean, even though like this George Pickens trade, this was another reminder, like it could still happen. People could still get moving. This is something that we talked about before the draft, like with Mark Andrews, that just because he doesn't get traded during the draft or before the draft, it doesn't mean that it still can't happen. Now, most likely it won't, but I think if Ravens got the right offer, especially a team that really needed wanted a tight end, and they were like, all right, Ravens here, then EDC could look at it and be like, But right now, especially since the Ravens didn't draft a tight end, maybe he would pass if it wasn't significant enough.